To be a carer is a challenge, a serious challenge to your future and your life.
It is very easy to get isolated as a carer.
It's really important to recognise that everyone needs some contact with the outside world. The computer for me is my lifeline. It's been the lifeline that's kept me going. I started caring for my mother many years ago after my father died, when she started to develop vascular dementia. And so gradually, slowly but surely, she became more and more dependent and eventually moved in to live with us. And so I became aware that I was a carer.
I became a carer by accident, of course. My wife had Alzheimer's. Husband and wife have different jobs in their house. The wife generally does the cooking and the housework and looks after herself. The husband looks after the garden and the sort of do-it-yourself jobs and looks after himself. When you're a carer, you have all four jobs at once.
I became a carer when my late mother died and I had to look after my elderly father. And then when my father passed away, I became a carer for Hugh, my husband, and he's got osteoarthritis of lumbar back, hips and knees. He's partially sighted and he is deaf as well.
You suddenly find that you're on your own, that your friends aren't popping in, that you aren't able to get out there, and that can be really worrying, because once you're isolated, you aren't getting information, you aren't getting support, and you can become quite depressed and things can get on top of you. One of the things that is really beneficial is sharing with each other. I know what that feels like. Oh, that happened to me the other evening. Those sort of sharing experiences are invaluable. The internet can offer carers a window to the world. It gives them an opportunity to contact others, which they can't do otherwise.
Hello everybody, isn't it a lovely day? Nice to see you all.
The Internet Cafe we set up about 3 years ago because carers and older people told us that they desperately needed to go somewhere and find out about computers.
What most people use computers for these days is email, above anything else. And if you're in a position where you're likely to be tied at home more than most people, where you run the risk of being isolated, IT is a fantastic way of staying in touch with people. There are so many ways that it gets you out into the world when you're not physically able to do that.
There are internet cafes by different names all over the country. Lots of different people organise them, lots of different ways of doing it. You know, you really need to ask your local information centre if there's anything around that you can do that with.
The computer has totally opened up my life. There are all sorts of organisations on the internet. It's a mine of information. When I was caring for my elderly father, I never had a computer. If I'd had a computer in those days, it would have opened up my life even more.
There are so many helpful websites out there. One in particular is Carers Direct. It was created by the NHS in conjunction with carers and carers organisations. It is a great starting point for information, advice and support on a number of topics relevant to carers. Carers Direct has its own online forum where you can meet and chat with other carers. What a wonderful way to connect online.
The Silver Surfers scheme is great. It starts with giving people the opportunity to see how a computer works, how it could be used by them.
I'd really like to encourage people to go out on a Silver Surfers Day on the 21st of May and try these events, thousands of them all over the country. A really good opportunity to have a go, try a computer, see if you like it, see if it's something you'd like to do in future, and I'm sure once you've tried it, you'll be hooked.